Hey everyone, my name is Matt Reed, and welcome back to Movie Snobs. This week, I would like to talk about Venom, a more recent movie, one that's still in the theaters at the time of me doing this review. Now, I know that before, I've talked about a Marvel movie with the light and fun Ant-Man, but this is drastically different. Here today, as usual, I'm going to talk about what I liked and disliked about Venom in that order, and hopefully, by the end, come to a conclusion and give the movie my overall rating. Now, without further ado, let's get started. The first thing I want to dig into today is the star power this movie had. The acting in this flick was not a downside. Tom Hardy is always a welcome sight. His acting really shines in almost every flick he takes on. The villain is no exception. I'm really glad to see Riz Ahmed in this as Carlton Drake, as he has popped up in a few of the more recent movies that I've enjoyed. He does extremely well in hiding his ability to be unfeeling and almost sinister behind a facade of altruism and charisma, and you can see a clear path of his descent into darkness throughout the movie. Next, I'm going to talk about the action, something I will almost always touch upon. I didn't have many expectations going into this flick, and I hadn't been a large Venom fan in the past. I wasn't looking for anything specific in this movie, but I was pleasantly surprised. I felt the power of Venom in the movie theater. The fight scenes were full of strength and carnage, no pun intended. As Venom jumped around the screen, taking out enemies and tossing them about, I was impressed. As I have mentioned before, I love when a savage force is allowed to be just that in their movie, savage. Last and probably least of the positives, the humor. It's in today's standard that most big blockbuster action flicks have to have some comedy in them, a standard undoubtedly set by the Marvel Cinematic Universe a decade ago. I enjoyed around 75% of the movie's humor. Some jokes I laughed louder than others, but some just didn't hit. I know that my opinion doesn't differ from the fellow moviegoers that I was sharing a theater with, and I was able to pick out the specific moments where laughter was intended, but not received. Now that I have touched upon the positives of the movie, it's time to dive into the dirty details of what I disliked about this picture. The first thing that I noticed at all about Venom was the pacing. I know that there was a lot of story to cram into this 1 hour and 52-minute runtime, but I still feel it was poorly done. The beginning of the movie gave story details for 30 minutes. Then it awkwardly turned to a 6 months later cutaway. That is extremely hard to pull off in a sophisticated manner and not feel totally out of place. And this movie didn't do well on it. The movie seemed to drone on for the first half, resulting in me and my friend tapping our feet just waiting for the action to start. The plot is hands down the most important part of any movie, and the plot in Venom is more full of holes than Swiss cheese. Yes, a story was told, but many parts of it should not have been possible. Without spoiling anything major, the movie has almost no police presence with lasting effect. There are huge plot points that would never take place in real life without some form of screening by the public or government. While I know that these movies aren't grounded in realism, that doesn't mean that they aren't completely immune to some of the restrictions of it. The last thing I'll talk about briefly is the romance in Venom. The romance feels fake and forced throughout the movie. Even though they tried to litter it in at a steady pace, the chemistry just wasn't there. Though I can't say I know Tom Hardy for his love story roles. After taking a hard look at the good and bad of this movie, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Mediocre. Well, that's all the time I have for you today. If you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to let me know on our Twitter, at ZTVGoofingOff, using the hashtag Movie Snobs. My name is Matt. Thank you for watching Movie Snobs.